Now the second exceptional case. Now how about if the adjective is ending with Y? What will happen? Yeah, we know that Y does not have ER after it except in some formal cases. But normally the Y, I change it into I. So here, when I want to use the word happy, for example, so the winner is happier than the loser. The winner is happier than the loser. Now, so I put the adjective, I change the Y into I put the ER. Then that. Okay? So these are two exceptional cases when I talk about the one syllable adjective. So the one syllable adjective here, we agreed that we put ER. But we have two special cases, two exceptional cases. Now, the first one, when we actually not going to, yes, very nice. Not going to just put the ER. No, actually we will double the letter. Why? Because I have a consonant is following a vowel sound. Now the second case is when I have a Y at the end of the adjective. Now I change this Y into I and I put the ER that I have. Like happy, happier. Funny, funnier. Sad, like sad. What's the comparative for sad? You need to work. Think. We will talk about it at the end of the session. Now, we have the second case here, not exceptional, of course. The second case for the comparative is related to the two-syllable adjective. Two-syllable adjective. What's the two-syllable adjective? Something like when I say beautiful. So, beautiful. So it's not like short, one shot, tall, one shot. So it's beautiful. Beautiful. So if I have two-syllable adjective, I use what? Yes. I use more. I don't change the adjective. I leave it the same. I use more. Then I use than. Why do I always use than? Why do I do this always? Because always you train yourself. Okay. So you always train yourself that than comes before a second thing to compare with. So here I have a parrot and I have a crow. So I'm comparing two things. So I use than if I have a second thing to compare with. But if I said the parrot is more beautiful and I stop talking, so I cancel this one. Okay? I move this one with than. You understand? So let's give an example. Let's say I have two here. Muhammad is taller than Ahmed. Muhammad is taller than Ahmed. So let's go again. So Muhammad is taller. Muhammad is taller. Very nice. Okay. So Muhammad is taller. Let's go next. The second case is the superlative. Now, for the superlative, I have a different case. Why? Because the comparative I put ER, and I put like, I change the Y into I, and I put ER again, and so on. But how about the superlative? Now, superlative here I'm comparing one with all. Very nice. So I compare one with all. Now like what? Like for example, let's say in our class, I have like some tall people, but let's say Muhammad is, okay, is for example 2 meters. So if we're talking about he's 2 meters, and the rest of them, like 1 meter and 60, 1 meter 70, 1 meter 80, Muhammad is 2 meters. So he is what? So Muhammad is the tallest in the class. Muhammad is the tallest in the class. So this is the idea. The idea here is about Muhammad. Muhammad is the tallest in the class. So here, for the superlative, the first thing with the one syllable adjective, because they have the same cases, one syllable adjective, I use the and I put est at the end. Again, so for the one syllable adjective, I put the before it and I put est at the end. Of course, no than, because Muhammad here is not compared with one person. Muhammad here is compared with lots of people. Okay? So I put than when I compare it with one person. Like for example, Muhammad is taller than Ahmed. Ahmed is shorter than Muhammad. Okay? The door is bigger than before. Now let's say my cell phone now is bigger than before. My cell phone is bigger than my brother's cell phone. You see, all of these like comparative. I'm comparing two things. But here superlative, I'm comparing one with all. So Muhammad is the tallest in the class. So I put that, the adjective, then est. The exceptional case number one is when I end the verb with a consonant and it's following a vowel. Now it's the same case. I double the vowel, I double the consonant, and I change the last part into est. The same as we talked and discussed it before. So the elephant is the biggest in the forest. You see, the same as we discussed it before. Before we said we put er, we double the thing, but we put then at the end. Here we don't do this. We don't put then at the end, but we put that at the beginning, and we double it est. And I guess like it's not going to be a problem for you. Okay? Now that's the exceptional case number one. Let's go for exceptional case number two. Exceptional case number two, when I have an adjective that ends with y. Explain. Okay. Like happy, like noisy. All of these are adjectives are ended by y. So when I have an adjective that is like ending by y and it's no chance for someone else, so you should do this. You change the y into I and you should put est at the end. And of course here we forgot something here. We need to put that here. So here I have that. So the winner is the happiest in the competition. The winner is the happiest in the competition. Okay? Very nice. So here we're talking about the normal cases and we're talking about like the special case. Okay? Let's watch this video. Before let's continue to the last part and then watch the video. Now, the second thing is two syllable adjectives. The two syllable adjective is the same thing, but instead of saying more than, put the most. Okay? And of course you don't put than. Sorry, that's a typo because we copied the same thing. So, we put what? The most beautiful bird. The peacock is the most beautiful bird. Remember the first one? The parrot is more beautiful than the crow. Now, the peacock is the most beautiful bird. Go next. Okay. Now let's talk about some irregular adjectives. Now we've said that the adjectives, the regular ones, we put er in the comparative. In a superlative, we put like one or two or like the center or anything. So we need to work on the grading system. How? Now We're saying that we have a regular verb. We know that the comparative part we put ER, and we have like special cases, and the superlative part we put EST. Now, the irregular ones, that means we change the whole thing. Like for example, something like bad. We don't have something called badder. We have something called worse. And then we have worst. Far here I'm talking about the distance. Far. Like for example, let's say Saudi Arabia is far from USA. So far. Now the comparative for it is farther. Farther. And the superlative for it is farthest. Farthest. Okay. Now let's go next. Far again, to the extent. That means what? Okay. Now we're not talking about a huge distance, we're talking about small distance, extent. Like further and furthest. Good with the bad.
When you buy a package tour, it often includes your flight and your hotel. A resort is a place where you go. Brought to you by EF Education First and English Town. Learn anytime, anywhere. Pod English Elementary 32, planning a trip. In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to make comparisons in English using superlatives. Expressions like the biggest or the best. Today's movie is about vacations.
So I went there
Eddie wants to go on vacation.
and asked them, that's what I want.
Christina is helping him choose where to
I
go.
want the most beautiful beaches. I want the best food ever. I want most comfortable hotel. Right? Just 3 things.
Before we watch the movie, we'll look at some new words. Package tour. Resort. These are 2 different kinds of vacations. Package tours are cheap vacations. When you buy a package tour, it often includes your flight and your hotel. A resort is a place where you go for your vacation. A tight budget. This means you don't have much money to spend. Does Eddie want a cheap or expensive vacation? Let's watch the movie.
Hi, Christina. What took you so long?
I got you some travel brochures. Want to look?
Brilliant, thanks. Did you get some for Greece?
I got you a whole range. Everything from the cheapest package tour to the most expensive resort.
Wow, you've got loads of them. Where's this place with the gorgeous beach?
That's in the Canary Islands. It's supposed to be one of the cleanest and most beautiful beaches. But it's super expensive.
I want a pretty tight budget. Where would you go?
Well, I like diving, so I'd go to the place with the best water and sea life. You don't dive, do you?
Nah, I prefer lazing by the beach with a good book. And I like a place with a good nightlife.
Well, Ibiza is perfect for you then. It's easily the busiest place for nightlife. But the beaches are some of the most crowded in Europe. Don't you mind?
Not really. My friend Charlie's been all over Europe, and he told me that he had the most fun in Ibiza. Plus, the other tourists were some of the friendliest he'd met.
So, you want to go to Ibiza then?
It sounds like the most exciting place for a holiday. But let's check out some more brochures before I decide.
Eddie wants a cheap holiday. He's on a tight budget. Luckily, Christina has lots of different kinds of travel brochures.
I got you a whole range. Everything from the cheapest package tour to the most expensive resort.
The cheapest package tour. We add est onto the adjective to make the superlative, cheapest. The superlative is used when you compare more than two things. But if the adjective is long, like expensive, we use most before the adjective. Most expensive. Let's look at another example from the movie.
Well, Ibiza is perfect for you then. It's easily the busiest place for nightlife. But the beaches are some of the most crowded in Europe.
It's the busiest place for nightlife. But the beaches are some of the most crowded in Europe. Most crowded. This is a longer adjective, so we use most before it.
Yeah, the beach was okay. Nice. Clean. But it was the most crowded beach ever.
When the adjective ends in a Y, we add IEST. Busy, busiest. Happy, happiest. Friendly, friendliest.
So that's why I ended up buying the most expensive backpack and accessories for hiking. The problem is that I hurt myself. That's me.
Now it's your turn. Use the adjective to make the superlative. Eddie is on a tight budget. He chose the cheapest vacation. Fill in both these gaps with the adjectives. Ibiza is the busiest place for nightlife, but the beaches are the most crowded in Europe. Well done. You should be able to make comparisons using superlatives now. It's one of the most common expressions in English. Ibiza is the busiest place for nightlife. The beaches are the most crowded in Europe. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Join us again soon. Bye.
It was the worst vacation ever.
Okay, so after watching this video about like planning a trip, so now we understand what's the difference between superlatives and comparatives. Okay, so we know how to use both of them now. Okay, now so you will take a short break, then we will come back. Okay, we'll come back from the break. Now before the break we were talking about superlatives and comparatives. We said lots of things about superlatives and comparatives. We said that the comparatives we compare between two, superlatives we compare one with all. And we said about the comparatives that we put ER to the adjective, and of course after the adjective we put than. And after that we put the thing that we want to compare it with. That's the first thing. Also I have another thing. Also I have the special cases. The special case is the first case if I have the last letter is a constant and the one before it is a vowel. So I put ER, yes, but I double the constant. Like big, it becomes bigger with double G. Like, for example, lots of vocabularies like this. Now the second special case, when I have Y at the end of that thing, at the end of that adjective, so when I have a Y at the end of that adjective, so I change this Y into I and I put ER. That's the special cases for the comparatives. The second case, for the comparatives with the word and more than one syllable. We said that the first case is the one syllable word like tall, short, one syllable, I put ER. But for example, a word like beautiful, can I say beautifuler? I can't. Can I say like fantasticer? I can't. So all of these vocabulary, I cannot put ER with them because they are two syllables. So I need to do what? I need to actually put something and like change it without using the R. What's that thing I put more? So like more beautiful than, more fantastic than, more wonderful than, and all of these things. So I put more. Now if we're talking about the superlatives, they are the same, but like they have different usage. Now the superlatives I talk about one person, like for example, he's the tallest. That means in the class he's the tallest. Okay, so the superlatives. I put est after the one syllable word. Of course, it has the same special cases, but in the second case, I put most, not more. This is the thing for the superlatives and comparatives. Of course, in the future, we will take different things about superlatives and comparatives, like how not to change more, the opposite more, the opposite most, and all of these. Now, let's talk about something else. Something we have like a problem with, the common mistake we have in general in English. These two. Two and enough. Now, we have a problem in using these two. Why? Because we don't know when to use two, we don't know when to use enough, and all of these things. Okay. Let's understand it like this. Let's talk about two first. Two means more than what you need. Like, for example, it's too big. It's too small. It's too slow. It's too fast. It's more than you need. It's somehow more positive way or more negative way. How? Like when I say it's too big, that's very big. It's too small, negative way. It's too small, very small. For example, let's read these examples. This t-shirt is too small. It's too big for him. It's too late to come now and apologize. The new shorts are too tight. This shirt is too loose. Again, so this t-shirt is too small. It's too big for him. It's too late to come now and apologize. The new shorts are too tight. The shirt is too loose. So this is how I use two for something more than I need. Go for enough. Enough, that means it's sufficient. What means sufficient? It's comfortable for me. Like for example, Dave is intelligent enough to do the right thing. Okay. Dave is intelligent enough to do the right thing. Or maybe here, now there is a problem here. That's a typo. So here, I cannot say this. I say what? I say right. Very nice. I say right. So, the right thing. So, Dave is intelligent enough to do the right thing. We have enough money. I'm tall enough to play basketball. The t-shirt is big enough for me. The chair is big enough for both of us. Let's say them again. Dave is intelligent enough to do the right thing. We have enough money. I'm tall enough to play basketball. The t-shirt is big enough for me. The chair is big enough for both of us. You understand? So here when I say enough, I'm talking about something sufficient, something comfortable for me. I feel okay with it. Meaning when I say it's too big, that means I'm complaining, it's not okay. But when I say it's big enough, that's another thing. Big enough for me or enough big for me? Big enough, very nice. I cannot say enough big. Because enough cannot come before the adjective, it comes after the adjective. So it's big enough for me. Okay? So this is something we have to pay attention to. So enough comes after the adjective, not before the adjective. Like here, intelligent, intelligent is the adjective, then enough. Tall is the adjective, then enough. Big is the adjective, then enough. Big is the adjective, then enough. Okay? Let's go next. A common mistake we have. A common mistake we have when we talk about enough, as we were saying. Like for example, I say it's not enough big. Most of people do this when it comes to talking about negative for enough. I say it's not enough big. This is wrong. It's not big enough. Again, enough comes after the adjective, not before. So pay attention to this common mistake because that's a mistake we do a lot. Now, let's go next. The next thing we have now is a video that explains most of the things about enough and to. Let's go for this video.
English, Lesson 9. Topic: To and enough. This is a lesson in 2 parts. Part 1, Understanding to and enough. People sleep in different places, from a sofa to a futon. I usually sleep on a bed, but if my children are sick or have a very bad dream, I sometimes sleep on the floor in their room. Some may think that the floor is too hard to sleep on, but first of all, we have a carpet. And second, if I have a pillow and a soft blanket or two, I don't think the floor is too uncomfortable to sleep on. What I don't like is a bad mattress. That's why recently my husband and I decided to buy a new mattress. Our old one was just too lumpy and it was sagging where he slept and it was sagging where I slept. So we decided it was time to buy a new one, a better one. We went to the store and we chose a good mattress. I will admit it cost a lot of money. Some people would say that we spent too much. But I don't think so. My husband and I decided that it was important to get a good night's rest. So we got the mattress. Yesterday, the delivery truck came and brought our mattress to us. They took the old mattress away and put the new one in place. The mattress is good, but there is a problem. It's a funny one. Let me show you. Let's pause for just a moment and see how well you understand the situation so far. Can you answer these questions? A. When does Jennifer sleep on the floor? I said when my children are sick or when they have a bad dream. B. Is she comfortable on the floor? I said yes, because there's a carpet, and I'm comfortable with a pillow and a couple of soft blankets. C. What did Jennifer and her husband decide to buy? A mattress. Could they afford it? Yes. D. What was wrong with the old one? The old one wasn't comfortable. There were many lumps and it was sagging. All right, let's go on and you'll find out what exactly the problem is now. So here's our bed. It looks nice, right? We'll look again. It's too high. The bed is too high. When I first saw this, I thought, are my legs long enough to climb onto the bed? The mattress is fine. It's perfect. The mattress is fine. The problem is under the mattress. Under the mattress is a box spring, and the store sent the wrong size. The box spring is too big. It's too deep. We need one that's smaller, that's lower. The store has promised to send a new box spring to us. So tomorrow afternoon I should have a bed that is a normal height.